toll-free number, 855-450-3733. We're here. We're always here. We're here 365 days a year, and we love to take your calls. This is Open Phones Radio. You don't have to talk about what we're talking about. That's the beauty of it. You talk about what's interesting to you, and we'll probably offer our 2 cents worth. The we in studio tonight is myself, Chris
Gannon,
and the nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And we're joined by a new co-host, at least nights that I host. Have you ever been on Free Talk Live, Chris?
I actually sat in
Nice.
when Adam Kokesh was up here last.
Okay.
So it was very interesting because it was the first time I sat in producing podcasts and doing this kind of media platform. I'm used to being the one talking.
Right.
So I didn't have a mic that night, and I was sitting there and I wanted to jump into the conversation. So tonight's my chance.
Believe me, you jump in anytime. But first, we did want to start off with a story. And if you don't have anything to talk about yet, hey, we'll bring some stuff in. And tonight, this has to do with a controversial gun rights activist who got into a little bit of legal trouble. And we are referring to, of course, Cody Wilson of Defense Distributed. Cody Wilson, now it's been a few years, but Cody Wilson created a thing called the Ghost Gunner. The Ghost Gunner was a box, a milling machine that you could put a not completed AR-15 lower into, something that's been 80% finished, but it's not ready to fire. You could put this in there, you could finish it, and it was completely automated. Very cool technology. And you can sell what makes up, and there's some discrepancies about federal law on this, but basically the belief has been that if the receiver, a crucial part of an AR-15, is not completed beyond 80%, you can buy and sell those without a serial number. So the Ghost Gunner allowed you to finish those and really come up with the part that makes an AR-15 work without a serial number. And this is perfectly legal under federal law, and it's a good thing. I like my guns, like my aliens, unregistered. It's just one of those things. If the government knows that you have a firearm, and they're going to know if you have purchased a firearm at a federal firearms licensed dealer, they say they don't keep records. They say they don't look really closely at that stuff, but
they lie.
they do
a lot.
Nobody, come on.
It's true. Nobody tells you the truth.
Exactly. Gun rights activist Cody Wilson told the Washington Free Beacon he will be returning to Defense Distributed, a company that manufactures machines that make gun parts, after striking a plea deal in his sex crime case. Wilson said he was invited back by Paloma Heindorf, who took over the company after Wilson was arrested in 2018 for paying an underage girl for sex. He also said that the company would be launching a new Ghost Gunner, and this one is designed to help manufacture firearms parts on a do-it-yourself or small business scale. Wilson's return will put him back in the center of the legal battle over homemade firearms and just how far Second Amendment protections extend. He has for years now been at the center of several lawsuits seeking to curtail the distribution of firearms blueprints online. So that was another thing he did. He released the milling plans for these things, and a lot of people argued, I think rightfully so, that plans are just, basically that's software.
Right.
And software is written. And according to our Constitution, things that you write down, it's the equivalent of speech. So what's the deal? Do we have a First Amendment or do we not have a First Amendment?
Right. And it also kind of goes into where we're at with technology these days. And a lot of the laws have not caught up to where we're at with technology. So, for instance, 3D printing, a software that details how to make that for, a firearm. Well, what do they do about that?
Yeah, and it's going to get into a lot of other areas too. Let's say that, Ford uses certain patented parts in their automobiles.
Right.
Well, it's not going to be too much longer before suddenly all those plans are available. Is Ford Motor Company going to sue everybody who's decided to make their own thing at home? I think 3D printing is going to be a game changer. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree, and I think the free market and technology kind of seem like they're working side by side to complement each other. So with that being said, when you think about it, a lot of these regulations that might end up coming up, technology seems like it's 10, maybe 20 steps ahead of any of these regulations that could come out. And it's always going to be a chase for these laws and regulations to catch up with technology. Ian and I were talking before the show, quantum computing. There was a few articles, about a month ago, concerning quantum computing in relation to cryptocurrency. And
Sure.
a lot of people in the crypto community freaked out. And they're like, oh, it's not secure anymore. It's not going to be secured. It's like, okay, well, technology is always raising the bar. And there's going to be quantum security at some point. So it's not like the end of the world.
Yeah, and quantum computing is an interesting one because, and Google famously said, when they did their press release, they calculated something that would normally take an awfully long time. We did it in no time at all. And the technology aspect of that is it can do something like that. But it has to be programmed very specifically to do that thing that you're trying to do faster. You can't just say, oh, we have quantum computing, then Bitcoin's broken.
Right.
It's nothing at all like that. The other thing is it still obeys sort of the laws of large numbers. If you want to make Bitcoin quantum resistant, for example, you could double the length of the key. And that's going to defeat most plans in the immediate term because then those numbers are going to become that much bigger, and it just doesn't compute.
Yeah. And cryptography, there's never been an expectation that cryptography would keep your secrets forever, or that it would keep them absolutely. The rule of thumb is that technology will advance. So you have to choose a level of cryptography which guarantees that the cost of accessing the data will exceed the value of accessing the data for a longer period of time than the data is very important.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Christopher calling in from South Carolina. Christopher, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Hello. Hello. I hear noise in the background, but Christopher, are you there? I think we got a bad connection there. We're going to try Shia in California. Pardon me if I screwed up your name. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, my name is Kaya Klein. Can I be heard?
You can.
Hi, yes. I'm calling in on behalf of Chris Gannon for basically showing up for family law. And I'm also calling in because it is important. This topic is on basically family law and corruption in the United States. And my mission is to get law, state and out of state, all states, to be able to go on board to pro bono attorneys, to provide pro bono attorneys for low-income families that are going through this horrible custody fight, and also for non-custodial parents, whether it's female or male.
Hey, I hate
so
to.
I just
I'm going to
wanted
put
to
you
put
on
that
hold.
out.
I'm going to put you on hold. We'll come back to you in just a moment. 855-450 free. We're talking about cryptography. We're talking about making guns, and we're going to talk about family law. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, 401(b), or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their investment accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
On May 22, 1992, beloved talk show host Johnny Carson ended his 30-year run of hosting The Tonight Show with a farewell episode that included special guests Saddam Hussein, KKK Grand Wizard Virgil E. Griffin, and a musical performance by the Flagshifters. On May 24, 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opened, providing New Yorkers with a more efficient way of killing themselves and escaping their trash-ridden excrement-cake city. The monument's historic opening was marked by hundreds of people jumping 275 feet to their deaths in order to avoid waking up every morning with the smell of horse shit filling their nostrils.
Before the Brooklyn Bridge, there were very few ways for New Yorkers to free themselves from the cesspool in which they lived. One method was to tie cinder blocks on their legs and walk into the Hudson River. But of course, the banks of the Hudson were so brimming with garbage and raw sewage that the putrid stench would drive back even the most desperate suicide seeker.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is a very cool app, and if you use Discord to contact the show, you are going to sound so good. You can find out more at discord.freetalklive.com, but you're going to need to load the app on your smartphone, on your laptop, and use your high-speed internet connection. And it's amazing. It's like people are right here in the studio with us. And in the studios, myself, Chris.
And Chris Gannon.
I should
and nobody.
I should say Chris R. I guess tonight I'm going to have to let people know. Well, normally we have a couple out there. But first I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or just meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. And we're joined tonight by Chris Gannon. Normally, it's nobody, myself, and Ian, normally on Thursdays. But you're taking Ian's chair tonight. And
thank you, Ian, for letting me.
Exactly. And we were talking a little bit before the show, but you're very into family law, and I think that it's safe to say you're very concerned about it.
Yes, and I think it's a very silent community within the United States, and I would even go far enough to say it's one of the most oppressed communities, non-custodial parents and victims of parental alienation since the Civil Rights Movement.
I don't doubt it.
And I don't think a lot of people really realize what's going on in our courts and how corrupt everything is. Just down from, the false allegations that can be made against a non-custodial parent and the financial incentive for the state to divide families and profit off that division and affect the child in such a negative way and destroy another parent's life.
And that's the thing. My ex-wife and I, we had some issues, and it never got into. It was a custody battle. That's what it was, pure and simple. But we resolved it relatively quickly. But if things get out of hand, it's easy to see how these things can go sideways. And I knew that if I let things go too far sideways, all she had to do was go to the judge, go to the court, and that would have been it. I probably wouldn't have seen my son again. I'm glad it didn't happen that way. But I know for a lot of people, circumstances change from family to family.
Well, and the family law courts, it's in the circuit court, and it's one of the only courts where one person can victimize another person and then be rewarded for it in the end. I'd like to use the analogy. It's like, it's a competition. And if you and I are in a competition and, we're before a judge and the judge is going to declare the winner, well, if you punch me in the face, I fall on the ground, and then you kick me and look at the judge and you say, hey, look, this person, they're in pain. They're crying. They're not mentally fit. They're not suitable to be, having a child full time or even part time. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
and
it's insane.
And I'll go into a little bit more later about how the state exactly profits off of it.
It is insane. We're going to go back to the phones where we have Kaya holding on. Kaya, you still there?
Hi, yes, this is Kaya.
Hi, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, I just want to thank you all for hosting Chris Gannon, and this is an opportunity, and I just want to share on behalf of the concerns of family law and concerns of non-custodial parents, what's been going on, and also what I'm working on as my own project, and also forming an alliance with Chris and Eric and other people that are going through this.
What kind of project you doing?
Through this together. So I am forming a group of people to change state law of California to provide pro bono attorneys for non-custodial parents, or just in general low income I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
Non-custodial parents, but also just on the low income, because my experience, and I'll state real quick, is I've been going through this, being the non-custodial parents, and it's still continuing on, a war in the courtroom. And my ex had an attorney and I could not afford one, and I lost primary custody of my daughter due to not having an attorney.
Because your ex was able to outspend you. It really just became about how much money he had versus you. Mm. Do you hear that a lot, Chris?
Yeah, and I mean, actually, personally, in my situation, I had a custody battle for my son, and about 2 years later, I had one for my daughter. Different, relationships, and attorneys. One thing I want to say is attorneys are part of the problem. Okay, so a lot of times you have two parents who've just decided this isn't working anymore. We're going to end this, and are able to maybe have some civil conversation and keep the best interest of the child at the forefront.
Yeah.
And then an attorney comes in, and that attorney, gets one of the parents aside and says, "Hey, listen, you make some money doing this, or you sure, he hasn't hit you, or she hasn't hit you, or doesn't have a drug problem. How much do they drink? Things will go a lot better for you if you just, could perhaps, say that this parent does this." And that's the big thing. A lot of false allegations are put out in court, and these judges, they're not equipped to handle them.
Right.
In my case, at one point, I was accused of abusing Chantix because I was trying to quit smoking.
You drug addict, you.
Yeah, I know, and I've also been told I'm an alcoholic, and
of course,
it's interesting because going into the courtroom, you can have doctors write letter like, "I see a therapist," and the therapist has said he does not have an alcohol problem. If he wants to have a beer, it's okay. Well, the game they play in court at that point is, well, you need to have the therapist come in and testify. Well, if I do that, I've got to pay for the attorney, and then my therapist isn't going to come in for free. He's losing a day worth of work, and you have to pay him. So yes, it very much turns into a financial battle between the two couples, and the only person who benefits are the lawyers.
Yep.
And the parent who wins out in the end,
and the state.
Because the state.
The more they can beat you down, the less likely they are to stand up to them.
And the way
thanks for your call.
The way the state actually benefits off this, there's something called Title IVD funding, okay? And what that states is that Social Security...
we're going to talk a little bit more about this because a lot of people, especially if you don't have kids, you don't understand how rough this is. If you've been through this, you know what it's like. This is Free Talk Live.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal, all with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back into your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. I wanted to take a moment. Are you into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin? If you are, if you own any of them, you really should check out the Edge wallet and see if your cryptocurrency is supported. Edge is available for iOS and Android devices. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrency. It is user-controlled, so you control access to your own money. I know that sounds like a foreign concept if you deal with banks where you really don't own your money. There's support for BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many, many, many more. They are a veteran team. They've been building apps since 2014 and building wallets for cryptocurrency since 2014. They want to help you secure your freedom. You can find out more at edge.app. That's edge.app. And it's the wallet I use more than any other. I have like 20, 30, 40 wallets loaded on my phone. I wish they were all full. I wish they all sent me an error message saying, I'm sorry, you have too much Bitcoin in this wallet. But that hasn't occurred yet. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
And Chris Gannon.
And nobody.
And we have been talking family law and parents' rights and what happens when people get into a battle over a child. And I think it's the worst thing I've ever went through, and it didn't last that long. You know, we fortunately for me, and I'm probably the exception. You know, it was about 6 months of living hell for me.
Right.
But there are people that you know, one side is all lawyered up and this goes on, and who pays? The child. That's the thing that is the worst. I mean, it may cost one side or the other side a whole lot of money in legal fees and court fees and stuff like that, but man, what are you putting your kid through? And it's just one of those things that once it gets started, it's hard to unravel it.
Right.
and it seems, I mean, it's a serious issue in that this drives a lot of people to suicide. We had a guy who quite literally set himself on fire outside the Keene Superior Court, trying to bring attention to this issue. And of course, they covered that up too. They did everything they could to silence this guy who was willing to give his life to get word out.
And you know, the only person that really I remember talking about that, like really put it out there, was Ron Paul. Ron Paul was, he as soon as that happened, like I think he put out a YouTube video concerning it.
Oh, did he address the Keene case specifically?
Yes, he did.
Wow,
yes, he did.
I was unaware of that. I'd like I'd like to hear that.
And that should be on YouTube somewhere. It was either him or it was
well,
of
course,
one of his
YouTube
blogs.
disappears videos they don't like, so you never know. But let's find out. Maybe that sounds like one that somebody should save and put somewhere safe.
Rip it and save it. And you know, part of the incentive to alienate children from their parents goes back to what I was talking about before the break, and that's Title IVD funding. And that Title IVD funding basically says for every $3 to $5 of child support that the state collects from a non-custodial parent, the federal government reimburses the state $1.
Oh, so really the feds just want to keep this whole racket going.
Yes, and it's beneficial to the states. And of course, we know what happens when the state receives that money. Yeah, sure. It goes into an account for education or maybe, you know, to run the child support facility. And at that point, you know, the money gets distributed in places where it can potentially end up in a contractor's pockets to build a new building that supports a certain politician. And there's a handshake there that's not seen. So
you'll never know.
It's a big profit racket.
We're going to go back to the phones where we've got Matthew in Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Chris. Chris, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
And nobody too. I was like talking to nobody. So I got this from the Firearms Policy Coalition's YouTube page. There's apparently something called the Federal Prevention of Violence Against Women Act or something like that.
Okay.
And it comes up for renewal periodically, and this is the cycle is coming up for renewal. So somebody decided they wanted to sneak a little gun control in there. And apparently
nice.
You will now lose your gun rights if you are convicted or plead guilty of, now, I've never heard of this before, but this is a new one on me, misdemeanor stalking.
Misdemeanor stalking.
That's a new one.
Yeah. Sounds like one they just
I have no idea what misdemeanor stalking is. It's like if you ask a woman out for a date 3 times and she said no the first 2, is the 3rd time a misdemeanor? If you follow a woman at 100 feet but not 99 feet, is that misdemeanor stalking?
Right. Who knows?
But you will nonetheless, if you're convicted of this misdemeanor, you will lose your gun rights.
And this is being attached to a bill, or it has passed?
It's being attached to a bill. I don't know if it's gotten all the way through. I'm going to have to rewatch the video from the Firearms Policy Coalition because somebody decided that was the time they needed to come down and tell me something else.
Yeah,
while I was at work.
Washington loves to do that. They'll take something that's not really popular, but let's attach it to a spending bill. It's amazing the things that end up in spending bills that don't actually have anything remotely to do with spending. Hey, Michael, thanks for your call. It just never ends, and they'll.
And the whole concept of a Violence Against Women Act is kind of repugnant to the idea of equal protection under the law. Why would there be classes, why would there be laws that are specifically designed to benefit one gender at the expense of another? That is completely repugnant to the 14th Amendment.
That's sort of the problem we have.
Well, it's divide. It goes back to divide and conquer. You know, they want to use gender politics to gain support and gain money to support their views and initiatives, which they profit off of. So, you know, it's the same thing as the culture war, you know, straight pride, gay pride. Like, they want to keep people separate. They don't want people saying, hey, you know what? The only difference between you and me is what's between our legs. So, you know, we have the same ideals, the same things happening to us. So if they can put a label on a man or a woman and kind of push them as the victim and get them behind a bill or something like that, you know, it's much easier because they know these groups are going to follow.
Absolutely.
Especially with the way mainstream media pushes stuff these days.
And the schools are designed, especially the colleges, to victimize women in the sense of teach women to be victims and teach women to capitalize on their victimhood and teach women to hate men for the past and the way that society has developed and the fact that we have stronger bodies. Well, sorry, I was born with a stronger body. That's not my fault.
Yeah, but you're right. It is divide and conquer, and that's the same thing going. It goes on in every aspect of our lives. And when we try to look and see what the commonality is, it's always government. They have the most to gain by keeping us look over here, but don't look over there, and keep your eyes off of us and what we're really doing. 855-450-FREE. We've been talking a lot about family rights and just equality issues and whether people are being treated like Americans or not. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.com. lighthouselawclub. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. But first, I got to ask you a question. Does your business take cryptocurrencies? Well, if you don't, you should. Do you operate a retail business? Are you looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier. Thanks to HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. That's brought to you by the folks at AnyPay. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account, and if you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just visit HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Dash at your store. Get started now at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. This is Chris in studio. Chris R. Let me clarify, since we have multiple Chris's. Chris R. and
Chris Gannon.
Right.
And nobody.
And we have been talking mostly about child custody and parental rights and what the state does to make a horrible situation even worse. That's what kills me. You know, it's already a bad situation,
right?
But the state just insists on making it harder for people to get through. We're going to go.
There's no situation so horrible that the state can't make it much worse.
See, and they said government doesn't do anything right. They do a good job of making things worse. We're going to the phones where we've got Chris Cole in South Carolina. Chris, can you hear me?
Hey, how are you?
Good. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. Just wanted to give a shout-out to Chris Gannon.
What's up, Chris?
Gannon and I are working. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. Excited you called in. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through, but I made the call early.
Well, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. As far as the discussion you guys are having, just a quick kind of interlude of my relation with Chris is I've actually been taken on as the coalition leader for victims of family law with Kokesh 2020. I'm also an alienated parent. I'm going through a custody battle right now as we speak. In fact, CPS was at my door yesterday because I'm having an investigation done. There is, we tried to do it through the courts. You pay a lawyer a lot of money, and then they put it off, and then they ask for more money.
Right.
And, you have evidence, just you pile up all this evidence and you did all this legwork for them only to tell you that, if we're going to continue, we're going to need some more money. And, I really don't see how they earned the first $10,000. that was given to them because I did all the paralegal work for them.
Right. So
there's multifaceted.
Do you guys see a solution to this? Okay, so let's take an example. Parent A, let's say, the husband has a ton of money, but the wife has never worked, and she's, they're going through a divorce or whatever, and now there's a custody battle where economically things aren't equal.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some potential solutions for that?
One of the solutions is 50-50 parenting. Okay, so when you take the financial incentive out of it for both parents, more than likely you're not going to have alienated children. You're not going to have these false allegations because both parents know that they're not going to come out on top financially.
Right.
And the child's best interest is going to be put first. And in those situations, if you really look at it and the child is, the focus of everything, let's say in that instance where a mother doesn't work, okay?
Right.
More than likely at that point, a father is still going to be working, cannot take on the child full time,
right?
And is going to say, well, listen, we've got to figure this out and take care of the child. And yeah, the father might have to throw the mother some money voluntarily. But when the courts get involved and the lawyers and they assign child support, and that's really what the fight about in courts about, they really enable one side to alienate a child and profit off of the situation.
Right. That's an interesting idea. Chris, any final thoughts?
Well, I mean, I can speak from my experience, which I know I'm not a unique individual. But I can tell my story, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Is, in my situation, I wasn't married. I have 2 kids. That relationship ended. And like Chris mentioned about false allegations, the allegations started flying when I ended the toxic relationship.
Right.
There are toxic, very sick, mentally unhealthy mothers and fathers.
Yep.
I'm going to speak for my situation where you're dealing with someone who loved you and wanted to be with you, but when you confronted them about maybe toxic behavior,
sure,
they left, and then you became alienated and became this evil monster. They can't prove it, but you also can't afford to get in a courtroom.
Right.
And then what's happening is you're paying child support. I was the sole supporter most of the time. She didn't work. My kids were ill often, and so was she, which that's an investigation in of itself. But so if you go from being the provider and then all of a sudden you're alienated, and that person, we didn't even, they don't talk custody before they talk child support.
Right.
So already now you're in a child support system, then they're continuing and pushing off a custody battle in order to generate funds. Then you go from the man who took care of everybody financially and was essentially not a perfect person, and it takes 2 in a relationship.
Sure.
But, you took care of your family to, living at your parents' house and 50% of your income is gone.
Right.
And that woman is either living on your money, another man's money who's now living in the house, and then also, getting financial kickbacks. They're seeking disability payments and all this stuff.
And they have the
literally
state there as a collection agent. You're going to pay me. If you don't, the state will come after you.
Yeah, and lock you up.
Right.
Yeah. So it's insanity.
They'll send armed men after you.
Yeah.
And then what happens also is so being on child support puts you basically on welfare yourself. So now you have 2 parents on welfare.
Right.
Because one's essentially not working. So now I could technically, because I pay 50% of my income to her while she lives on somebody else and on the government and on me, and she has nothing. Now I have nothing for my kids as well.
Yeah,
and I'm having to apply for food stamps and live at my dad's house.
Which you probably won't get because gross income is what's taken into account for food stamps.
I want to bring up a point that neither of these guys that are talking about this stuff, neither of you have come out and said all women are evil. This is not a gender issue. I mean, this gets done badly by men, and it's just one of those things, it's going to bring out the worst in people. And I think
system is evil.
The system is, and both parents are victims of it. Even if they think they're not, they're going to be victimized by it in one way or another, and that child certainly is. Chris, thanks for the call. The idea that you would be put in a position where it would benefit you to make your child a pawn,
right,
in this twisted game. It's just, and it's encouraged by the courts. It's encouraged by our laws, and
it's encouraged by the lawyers because they make bank off this.
Well, and you hit on a very valid point, and on the show that I do, I co-host. It's called Dad Talk Today. It's hosted by Eric Carroll. You can look it up on Facebook. One of the big things that we discussed recently was it happens to men and women. And once again, going back to that divide and conquer piece, the idea is like you see fathers' rights groups and mothers' rights groups, and they don't want there to be a parental rights group, okay? The people doing this, because when the people come together, that's when they have a problem. So I've always encouraged everyone to say, parental rights, is it really that necessary to have father or mother in front of your group name? No, we all need to get together and we all need to have a voice together because collectively our voice is louder. But when you allow certain aspects and certain leaders to segregate movements, that's when you lose traction.
That's my problem with feminism, that feminism has become a vehicle for just hating men.
Right.
And as a result, there's been this new men's rights activism, and it's like, well, what about human rights?
And
what about just treating both genders the same?
And that's the other thing. I don't want to take away from the father's rights movement or the mother's rights movement, but they've got to come together. It's divide and conquer.
Yes.
That's what it is.
We've got to quit falling for it. We've got to quit being divided by groups. This is Free Talk Live.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
This is not rehearsed. I'm just some person that listened to the commercial and said, you know what? Fruits and vegetables, how can I go wrong? At one point, I was going to stop taking it. And then I got a message saying that even if you stop taking it, you still have your coat for 2 months. And that's when I really realized you people aren't looking for money. You really care about the human being and helping people. So to me, that is the most important thing.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,503, silver at $17.80, and Bitcoin is trading at $7,474. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a bill that would make malicious acts of animal cruelty a federal felony was unanimously passed in the United States House of Representatives on Tuesday. The bipartisan Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act gives federal authorities a new set of tools to hunt down suspected animal abusers who move across state lines. The bill expands on a prior law that outlawed the creation and distribution of animal abuse videos that are obscene in nature, but didn't expressly prohibit violence toward animals. The Mind Unleashed reports the PACT Act intends to close that loophole. The bill was introduced by Republican Representative Vern Buchanan of Florida and Democratic Representative Ted Deutsch, also of Florida. In February, a bipartisan group of senators introduced the Senate companion to the bill. According to a fact sheet from Deutsch's office, the law would make it a serious federal crime for any person to intentionally engage in the crushing, burning, drowning, suffocating, and impaling of animals, along with any other acts of intentional animal cruelty toward non-human animals, birds, reptiles, or amphibians. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Google has officially confirmed that they've achieved quantum supremacy. While the breakthrough leaked last month, the company provided new details with the publication of a new article in the scientific journal Nature. The company says their 54-qubit Sycamore processor was able to perform a calculation in 200 seconds, which would have taken the world's most powerful supercomputer 10,000 years. Quantum supremacy has raised concerns that the company will be able to crack the strongest encryption, including the blockchain. That said, ex-Bitcoin Core developer Peter Todd called the achievement a primitive type of quantum computing that is nowhere near breaking cryptography. Some scientists have likened the breakthrough to the Wright brothers' first plane flight in 1903, as proof that something is really possible, even though it may be years before it can fulfill its potential, according to a report from the New York Times. A high-level Livingston Parish, Louisiana Sheriff's Office deputy who commanded the SWAT team, has been arrested for unspeakable crimes against children. 44-year-old Dennis Perkins and his 34-year-old wife, Cynthia Perkins, are accused of multiple counts of child rape and the production of child pornography. On Wednesday, the couple was arrested after a months-long criminal probe headed up by the Louisiana Attorney General's office. After the arrest, footage of the alleged child rapist was posted to Twitter, showing him being led into prison in shackles. The Free Thought Project reports that, according to a source close to the case, the couple was seen in videos and photos committing unspeakable acts with naked children. When police attempted to arrest Dennis Denny Perkins, he reportedly knew they were coming, so he tossed his cell phone in a nearby river and fled. The move also led to the top cop being charged with obstruction of justice on top of the child rape counts. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Take the Field's mission is to inform baseball players that physical activity is nothing to be scared of, that a little bit of running can be fun.
Now, Rebecca, this obesity problem is nothing new.
Well, right, there is a culture of obesity in baseball that has been around for years. I mean, coaches even sub in healthy pinch runners instead of encouraging their overweight players to hustle, depriving them of the only cardiovascular exercise they might have a chance to get.
And a lot of these athletes have been playing baseball since they were kids.
Well, right, so they might have never learned any healthy habits.
Baseball is fine in moderation, weekend. But many of these men spend over 200 days a year playing it, and that adds up.
The program encourages players once an hour to take a 15-minute break from baseball to do something active, like go up and down some stairs, go for a walk, or play some basketball.
All right, well, thanks, Rebecca. If you're a baseball coach and you're worried about your players' health, go to takethefield.gov for a list of healthy activities and nutritious snacks. Coming up next, does America brains get worse hearing words correct?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 2. We do 3 hours of radio every day of the year, including Thanksgiving. I only bring up Thanksgiving because I've been here on many Thanksgivings. I usually do Thursday nights. But it doesn't matter. If it's New Year's Eve, there's going to be a crowd in here. We occasionally go to conventions and conferences and things like that. You might hear a recorded show, but 9 times out of 10, you're listening 7 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. Odds are good. We're talking. The we in studio tonight is myself, Chris.
Chris Gannon from Dad Talk Today.
And nobody from electnobody.com. If you're in New Hampshire, I hope you'll support Nobody for governor. And my primary promise is I will pardon every gun crime, every drug crime, every gambling crime, and every prostitution crime in New Hampshire history.
Nice.
But you got to get out to the primary to vote.
That's a good platform. That is the best platform I have heard from anybody running for governor this time around. I think it's probably, let me just say, it's probably the best platform I've heard from any politician. Now, I don't mean to insult you, Nobody. I'm not saying you're a politician.
I have dived into that. The thing is, you got to become a politician to fight a politician.
Right.
And that's sad, but I'm willing to dive into the slime if that's the only way to do it.
And you're helping a lot of victims with your campaign, victims of victimless crime.
Yeah, I hope so. And that's really what it is these are victims of hate laws, victims of laws that were passed because somebody hated Mexicans or somebody hated black people or somebody hated hippies for being anti-war. And the last case, I'm talking about Richard Nixon, who hated black people, hated hippies, and wanted to be able to destroy us for something that was basically irrelevant.
Right. Well, I think if you throw parental alienation and family law in there, you might seal the deal and win in that election.
Yeah. See, I definitely I need to sit down with you and find out. Like, I'm not a parent. I've always been very careful about birth control, so this is one of the few problems that I don't have.
Right.
So I really need to find out what the what's needed in this respect.
We're going to go to the phones where we've got Mary Jane. She's been waiting patiently, calling in from Colorado.
Oh,
Mary
I love
Jane.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, it's GI Mary Jane, the militant, yet compassionate side of Mary Jane. How you guys doing?
We're good, thank you.
Yeah, Nobody. I love your platform, and I have to say, unfortunately, it's the first time I've heard it. You guys are very in line with what my activist group, Civilian Platoon 420, is looking to do, and all those victimless crimes, those hate crimes that are, it's disgusting the way these laws are. You mentioned Nixon. I don't know if you've probably seen all the declassified communication between Nixon and his cabinet members about the drug laws and why they were actually starting. And considering that evidence, has been declassified, there's no excuse for any seated president to not go ahead and sign the executive order based on that alone, and the threat to public safety with one nonviolent drug arrest every 48 seconds now. It was 50 seconds, but National Normal just updated that statistic recently. So it's getting worse out there despite legalization. And, Chris, thank you for what you're doing. Parental alienation has affected the cannabis community for a long, long, long time. how many times does one parent point the finger in court and say, they smoke weed, therefore they're a bad parent? And generally, even if the other parent has a history of violent charges, the weed smoker ends up being the more dangerous of the two. You guys mentioned domestic violence earlier. It's very insane. You mentioned domestic violence earlier. That's something that prohibition is helping to aid too.
Right.
You've got an abuser victimizing the family. Both the abuser and the victim likely smoke cannabis together, because generally you don't have one without the other in a household. It's one of those things, right? So abuser hits the victim. Victim wants to call the cops, and abuser says, I'm going to tell him you smoke weed, then you're going to be in jail. And then at that point, what good is the victim?
In jail or
their
worse.
family.
There have been cases where, and sometimes the couple is still together when this happens, sometimes they're not, but there have been cases where the government will take your children because you smoke weed and put them into a foster situation where they get murdered. This has happened repeatedly. Or the child is raped in these government foster care situations, and it's like, you know, it's not going to harm your kid if you smoke weed.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm guessing that probably more spousal abuse occurs because of alcohol than because of marijuana. I don't think that's a real stretch.
I think,
yet the government goes to great lengths to protect alcohol, but makes something that might make you tired and hungry for Cheetos. No, that's going to be the real crime here.
And you're dealing with a group of people, the people who enforce these laws have a 40% spousal abuse rate. I'm talking about the police now, whereas the spousal abuse rate in the general population is 10%. So you've got perpetrators out there perpetrating these laws on us.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And let's keep in mind, like G.I. Mary Jane, I've known her for a while, okay? We dated, okay? And I can tell you right now, she's an alienated parent, and if anybody would know if she's not a fit parent, it would be me, okay? and as somebody who was obviously, you know, in a relationship with her, it's very odd that her and I were able to end that on good friendly terms and come together to the point where we are today, but yet our other relationships prior were these evil, you know, people. So G.I. Mary Jane, like anybody who's listening, like check her out. She's in the Discord right now. Check her out on Facebook. Like she's very strong in the 420 community, has a very genuine activist. And, you know, a lot of times marijuana is used for medicinal purposes.
Sure.
And that's used as an excuse in the courts to keep people like G.I. Mary Jane from seeing her son.
That's insane.
And my church regards cannabis as a sacrament. So that's, again, it's a place where the government will come after us for our spiritual beliefs and our spiritual use of weed, which is pretty horrible.
And I don't only use weed medicinally, but I also use it spiritually as well. I'm trying to go through the steps of proving my indigenous heritage, which is next to impossible the way they have it set up.
Right.
You know, and if I did, I'd be protected. And here's the thing with that. I'm happy that the indigenous people are protected from any sort of prosecution for natural sacrament. However, if that's okay and safe for that community, then there's no excuse for it not to be okay for everybody.
Oh,
absolutely. And
now
the First Amendment.
Sense. This doesn't work with government.
Yeah, and the First Amendment doesn't specify certain races or certain people of certain genetic heritage have a right to free exercise of religion. It specifies that everybody has a right to free exercise of religion. And there's a problem with the idea that of handing out privileges to people of particular religions, because not only is there a free exercise clause, there's also a non-establishment clause, which says that the government should not treat you differently or give you advantages for your religion. So the proper way to reconcile those two clauses is that anything that's required by anybody's religion should be legal for everybody.
Hey, thanks for your call, Mary Jane. It's just this It's insanity. And again, speaking of dividing and conquering, indigenous people have more rights than everybody else. And that's not a bad thing because they were not treated well. But how about just making those freedoms available to everybody? That's
who is treated well by government.
Yeah, give me till the next
the people working in it,
Maybe
politicians,
come up
the
with
people
one.
running it.
855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their retirement accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to, completely tax-free and with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Visit dna.freetalklive.com to learn more and watch Fortune DNA's free pre-recorded webinar. With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free to you and your heirs, and use the money afterwards before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal. Avoid the volatility of the marketplace and put certainty back in your investing future and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Again, find out more at dna.freetalklive.com. That's dna.freetalklive.com. This is Chris in studio.
And this is Chris Gannon.
And nobody.
And we have been talking parental rights and family law. Chris Gannon, I dare say you have blown up Free Talk Live's phones tonight.
That's what I want to hear.
It's been nonstop, and these people tell very interesting stories. And a lot of you, maybe you've been married for 30 years and everything's cool, or maybe you've never been married. But when people have children, the courts and the government system has basically monetized your children. If there is a dispute, they have found a way to monetize the kids, so somebody's going to pay, and it could be you, it could be your spouse, but you're probably both going to pay because of the laws and the fact that you really need a lawyer to make it through this. It's insanity.
And when you think about it, if you were to sit down and interview anybody that grows up and has an addiction problem, okay, and really goes out of control with it, or even like the shootings we see across the United States today, okay, we know there are other reasons why those things happen, but 9 times out of 10, those people are coming from broken homes. And when you have a family that's divided and the mother or the father is taken out of the picture, that child is not given the proper compassion and guidance in life. They don't have the proper role models to help them keep from making those decisions. And I think a lot of custodial parents who alienate children, and I just want to say parental alienation is child abuse. It is child abuse, and we need to start saying that.
Right.
When they alienate, they do not realize their damage they're doing to the children.
Yeah.
And it does not come out until the child's 16 or 17 and is struggling with depression and abandonment issues. And I'm growing up, my hormones are raging, I'm in school, I've got this test tomorrow. And one day somebody's like, here, take this needle, put it in your arm.
Right.
And they do it.
Horrible. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Robert calling in from Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
So I could tell you some horror stories about the Department of Child Welfare and the Department of Child Support. But I'll tell you one experience I did have with them many years ago, back in 2001, where when I got out of jail, I had my child support set up to where they would take money out of my check weekly so I wouldn't miss it.
Right.
And I didn't have any contact with my then wife. She was in another state, and I couldn't find her, and the officer of the child support wasn't going to tell me. So I just kept on paying and paying, and finally, pardon me?
You were being extorted, and you didn't get to see your child.
Right. And so some time went by, probably 3 or 4 years, and I contacted my ex-wife. I was able to find out where she was, and I told her, I said, look, the children are of legal age now, and I want to stop this child support.
Mm-hmm.
and she
what'd
could
she
be
say?
the only one, I guess, that could stop this.
Right.
And when I got on the phone, she said, "What child support? I've never received a dime from you."
Wow.
And
so you were sending it through the state. The state was collecting it, but she said she wasn't receiving it.
Exactly, because the state said, well, they didn't know where she was.
Oh, so we just kept it. We put it in a Dropbox.
Yeah.
Well, what I was told was the money was in an account that didn't draw any interest.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Robert, thanks for your call. That's insane.
That's insane. I have not heard that one before, and I
don't doubt it because it sounds crazy enough the government would do it.
And it's in the community for parental rights, parental alienation, and family law. Everyone is afraid to talk about the child support issue because they don't want to be labeled a deadbeat parent. But the root of the problem,
or supporting deadbeat parents, right?
Yeah, and the root of the problem is the child support, assigning a monetary value to one parent for care of the child, and that's what encourages the alienation. And then you have some mothers and fathers that just say, "Hey, this is not for me," and don't want to pay it. That's an issue too.
Sure.
Okay, because those people, the child is still alive; it's in the world. You have a responsibility, and you need to step up and share the parenting.
Right.
So I do understand the other side of the argument when you have, a mother and the father's just like, I don't want to see these kids.
Yeah.
But there's a big, big difference between the parental alienators and those types of people, because those mothers are usually like, come see Johnny today, come see Johnny today.
Right.
Where the alienating parent is not trying to let the non-custodial parent see the child there. Oh, you're a drug addict. You have mental health problems. You have, you're an alcoholic.
Right.
All these false allegations are flying.
And my lawyer told me to say that.
Right. And the more common sense thing at that point to do, if you're a mother and your best interest, or a father and your best interest is your child, is to say, listen, you have a drinking problem. We need to get you help. I need to be involved with this process. I want you to do better in life so that you can help our child.
Right.
You don't see that argument.
Yeah, that's in everybody's interest. It's insane. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Eric in Georgia. Eric, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Eric.
Eric Carroll.
What's up, Chris?
What's up? Dad Talk Today. Tell us about Dad Talk Today, Eric.
All right. We started Dad Talk Today about 3 months ago, and it just kind of blew up, man. I've been through a couple of divorces myself, and I'm a victim of parental alienation, and I had enough. I was like, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to talk about it, and I thought that this happened maybe on a little bit of a smaller level. I didn't realize just how bad it's going on.
Hey, Eric, we're going to put you on hold. We're going to bring you back in just a moment, but this has certainly been the topic of the evening about parental rights and what people don't do well and ways it could improve. We can all help. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. You can also use Discord. You can learn more at discord.freetalklive.com. But safe to say, just load an app, use your high-speed internet connection, and your quality microphone. You will sound like you are in the studio with us. And the guest in studio tonight is myself, Chris R.
And Chris Gannon.
And nobody.
And we have been talking parental rights and family law, and this is something. It's an important thing to you, Chris Gannon.
Yes.
I've been in a breakup, a toxic relationship, a breakup, and fortunately, it was we managed to make it fairly painless for my son. That was the only goal. I know that a lot of people don't get out of it as easily as we did, and hopefully my son did.
Right. And you know, one of the big things when you're going through the family law system, you know, the parent who's normally having the child withheld from them goes through a lot of emotional distress. And one of the big things, and during that time, it's hard for them to, number one, cope with it correctly, and then number two, fight a custody battle. Right. And the financial implications are devastating. So Dad talked today, Eric Carroll. He's our caller on the line right now.
I'm going to bring him back on, too, while we're talking.
Yeah, and he's...
Eric, are you still there?
What he's...
Yes.
Very good.
What Eric's created is this resource for non-custodial parents or victims of family law or alienated parents to come to and be with others who've really gone through the same experience. And the whole point of it is for us to organize, not just to sit there and be like, woe is me, this happened, this is horrible. The point of it is an outlet, number one, to, get those emotions out in a healthy way. And then second, heal. And then third, take action to start fighting this.
I wonder if there's a way. I mean, what would happen if before people went to court, there was some kind of a mediation service run by a church or a nonprofit or somebody that they could go to that wasn't going to profit from their pain and wasn't going to, it was more of a
like a third party.
Yeah.
True mediation. And,
exactly.
Maryland has that. And, you don't bring your attorneys in, you go in. And this was when my daughter's mom was withholding her from me. And, of course, before we go into court, we have to do mediation. Well, we went into mediation, and the mediator was like, trying to work something out. And it was just, she shut her down every second. No. And her attorney coached her before she went in. She said, no, you go in there, stick to your guns. No, I don't want him to have that. No. Yeah. So it really, at that point, a lot of states, you have to pay for the mediation. Okay. And you're still going to get the same outcome. Right.
Yeah. Well, government mediation is likely to be like government anything else, which is bad.
Right. Well, and Eric, I think Eric can speak to a solution with 50-50 shared parenting. Would you care to talk about that, Eric?
Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. That encourages the parents to work out an agreement with themselves instead of going inside of court and making this all-out war about who's, the better parent and who's the worst parent.
Right.
And there's some states who've adopted it.
What's that now?
There's some states who have adopted it.
Yes. There is, and they're doing very well with it.
That's what we need. I mean, there just needs to be solutions. If you got into a situation, you're also responsible for how you get out of the situation.
Right.
And and we do that with corporations and with LLCs all the time. It's when you set up an LLC, you're not only planning how you're going to get married to your business, but you're planning your divorce. You're planning how things are going to be split up. And, if people put a little bit more thought into that when they get into relationships, maybe. I don't want to make relationships shouldn't be legal. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and
But
also
it is.
If people knew going into relationships that, hey, if we have an altercation or we just don't agree and we're going to go our separate ways, that automatically, short of a felony or a criminal, violent criminal conviction, it was going to be a presumed 50-50 shared parenting scenario.
Right.
Okay? At that point, a lot of people are going to accept that. And really, at that point, you should, have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the other parent is not fit. And you're going to see less false allegations. You're going to see less withholdings because then there's going to be consequences. Today, if a father or a mother alienates a non-custodial parent from the child and they go into court, even if the judge thinks it's wrong what the other parent's done, a year withholding, they get a slap on the wrist, if that. Maybe a little, you shouldn't do that.
No, you mean by withholding?
Yes. Now, by withholding, what normally happens in a lot of cases is when the mother and father split.
Okay.
An attorney will encourage...
A little bit of noise from you on the line, Eric. Go ahead.
The attorney for one of the parties will encourage...
Eric, I'm going to put you on hold for a moment. We're getting some background noise there.
And what will happen is the attorney from one of the parties will be like, well, listen, you don't let the other party see the child. Because if you do that, number one, you're taking ownership of the child. You're putting them in an environment. And when you're waiting in the courts a year and a half to go into a custody case,
right,
at that point, when they go into the courts, the judge is automatically going to say, well, this person has established themselves as the primary caregiver. And that's a strategy both my cases, my son and my daughter's mother, their attorneys encouraged them to do that. So the first year of my son's life, I didn't see him. Well, that's probably the first, I'd say, year and a half. And then the same with my daughter. And that was a strategy imposed by the attorneys.
I'm going to try to bring Eric back. Hopefully he's got his noisy phone line under control. Eric, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. But, this is... The thing is there are solutions there. There are solutions that don't have to involve the state. And, we do need to change some laws.
Right.
But I think anybody listening to this is going to realize there are some things we could talk about early in a relationship before it ever came to this.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah. When you look at at politics and at the political system and the lies they tell on both sides, the horrible distortions they do on both sides, what could possibly make people think that it's a good idea to involve these people in their relationships?
Right. Let them be the arbitrary force between two people and an argument over a child. Like that
has to do with your child. That's the insanity. Hey, Eric, thanks for your call. It's just, it makes no sense, but none of government really makes sense. You look to these people who are some of the worst examples of human beings to give you your solutions. It's insane.
And I just want to point out, like Eric Carroll, the gentleman who founded Dad Talk Today that was just on here, he's a victim of parental alienation. And, last week he actually saw his child while he was out at a grocery store. And here he is running this show and doing this site and has all these emotional things hitting him from not seeing his daughter. And it's incredible that he would start Dad Talk Today and be doing what he's doing and bring me on as a co-host and talk to people and trying to come to some sort of solution to this problem.
Right. I can only speak for myself, and like I said, fortunately it didn't go on forever, but it was hard. Right. I found myself in tears because my ex-wife was playing games with our son. That was the last thing I think anybody wanted, and definitely my son didn't want it. But we're talking with Chris Gannon and taking your phone calls, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing, manufacturing space, retail space, or more. Call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. That's 800-965-1295.
Free Talk Live.
We have been brought forward to bring out the truth.
I knew this was. All right, what is the truth?
No, it's in the 2 books.
Oh, you've got to buy the books. Now, how much is somebody going to have to pay for these books?
It's right online. Depending on what country you're in, they're $26 a piece here in the United States, including freight.
Now, why would God put books out and require people to pay for them? What's the point in that? I mean, aren't there people out there that can't afford that?
Those of us here on Earth have had to put the material together and get it copyrighted and available.
Why would God want to copyright something? What's the point of that? I mean, wouldn't God want...
Anything on this planet has to be copyrighted to be put out legally by
That's
your
not true.
government
Not true at all. Not true, sir. Nope. You can put whatever you want out there.
Explain?
No, you let me explain, because whatever you want, you can put online, and nobody's going to tell you can't do it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's how you can get on the air. We've been talking to Chris Gannon, and it's definitely been a busy phones night. A lot of people, I think you got quite a following.
Yeah, and that's largely in part due to me working on Adam Kokesh's campaign as his Northeast campaign manager, which we'll get into the relation to family law in a little bit, and honestly, Dad talked today. So if anybody's listening to this who knows somebody who's struggling with a family law issue, parental alienation, or needs some resources in a community to get around them, tell them to go to Facebook and just type in the search bar, Dad Talk Today, like the page. We go live like 3 or 4 times a week. We're actually building up to try to go live daily, but once again, our last caller, Eric Carroll, he's just been amazing in putting that platform out there. And it's about, healing, learning, and finding a solution to this nightmare that's just plaguing so many parents.
We're going to go to Paul in Texas. Paul, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, how are you guys tonight?
We're good, thank you. What's up?
So I am an advocate for equal shared parenting out here in Fort Worth, Texas. And you guys were talking about earlier about, the mediation process and having a third party. And luckily here in Fort Worth, Texas, there is a nonprofit that offers mediation services, which are free. And it's a great dynamic. It's an awesome idea. They've been around for 18 years. But the problem of it is where all this starts is with the attorneys.
Right.
100%.
And all this is all incentivized, and that's the hard part about this,
Well, and with the attorneys, there's really no recourse for them. They can go in and they know a lot of times that, they're presenting and putting these false allegations into their clients' heads. And, quite honestly, in my case, I've spoken out publicly about both attorneys. And, I've even considered it at one point, like, going to the courthouse and holding a sign with the attorney's name on it and saying, hey, this person is responsible from alienating me from my child. And, that might be something I do in the future.
Although most
like...
attorneys are pretty much immune to shame, so I don't know how much it's going to help.
Well, it's not about really going after the attorney. It's about creating that awareness, okay? If you think about it, a alcoholic or a abusive father or mother, they're going to be out drinking or doing drugs. They're not going to be sitting in front of a courthouse with a sign like that. So, it shows it's more than just going after the attorney. Yeah. It's making people stop and think. If this is how this parent is spending their time, there's got to be a reason behind it.
The idea that our laws are set up, though, to incentivize this type of turmoil. What changes to laws? I mean, we've talked about a couple things. We talked about mediation, but, what could you do? What could people be looking at from the law? Are there some solutions for legislation you could propose that might address disincentivizing this horrible practice?
I'm going to Paul answer
absolutely
that.
There is.
It's the 50-50 shared parenting, and that's what it's Paul, correct, was bringing up. And when you automatically do that, assume 50-50, it's gonna at that point take the incentive out of it for one parent to withhold the child, because that parent, number one, is going to get in trouble. It's presumed, like it's 50-50 at that point. The other solution that I will bring up later is, of course, Kokesh 2020 and why I'm involved with that campaign. But Paul, I want you to speak to that a little bit more, the 50-50 shared parenting and solutions.
Yeah, so the 50-50, first off, on a legislative side of looking at it and how you're presenting it, it's a rebuttable presumption, 50-50. And the rebuttable presumption is that there is, both parents were fit, willing, and able before the breakup. Well, they still are fit, willing, and able after the breakup.
That's a good point.
This is the rebuttable presumption is not about rubber stamping it. We do understand that there are parents out there that aren't putting the best interest of the child first. They are not doing the right things. They are physically abusing their children and so on and so forth. And there needs to be, the process of taking care of that. But right now, when you don't have that, that is treating every single parent that way. The false allegations referred to the silver bullet in the family court. There's no accountability. So, you move in the rebuttable presumption 50-50, which Kentucky did. They passed it. The reports of domestic violence through the family courts have cut down by like 35%.
Imagine that.
So you have that. And then you need accountability for the family law attorneys. And that is the big problem, is there is no accountability. So I'm all about rebuttable presumption 50-50 equal shared parenting, but also we need to come up with a statute, a certain set of guidelines that a family court attorney needs to abide by and be held accountable for.
Right. Accountability is always an issue, and it's just never ending with government institutions. Hey, Paul, thanks for your call. We're going to go to Robert. Robert's calling us from Michigan. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you guys doing this evening?
Good. Is this Rob Adams?
Yes, it sure is.
I'm so happy you called in. This is a very important phone call, everybody.
How's everyone doing this evening?
Very good. What's on your mind?
All right, man. Well, there's a lot of things that are on my mind at all times. The biggest problem that is on my mind is the parental alienation. Those issues have directly affected my life and the outcome of my son's future. And that's where, parental alienation and shared custody 50-50 have play a role, and we have to get the 50-50 standard passed in every state.
Right.
Because if I was able to be involved and know where my kid was, instead of the state incentivizing the mother to run and making it financially awarding to her to keep my child from me,
right,
my son would have never been injured in the explosion.
An explosion? What? How did that play out?
Throughout the many years of my son's life, he's 16 years old. I chased my son all over the state and tried to utilize services like Child Protective Services, the Friend of the Court. I was unsuccessful. He was in his mother's care, who was addicted to narcotics and other drugs. She was trying to process and make marijuana wax. With law enforcement officials and everyone having prior knowledge of what was going on before the incident. And she ended up blowing my son up and his little brother.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
So it is a direct, in my opinion, and the way I feel, it's a direct failure of the family courts, the child protective system, and all of that has accumulated over time and allowed her behavior to go on and incentivizing her even more as she progressed off and became worse. There was never no real legitimate investigations when CPS was involved. They never contacted me as the other parent to make sure I had a suitable place or a better situation for my son. They adapted to their policy. Oh, the child's going to stay with the mother, and let's help her and not tell the dad about anything. So not only was I alienated by my child's mother, it was also the child protective service workers who were in her life prior to the incident, the explosion, police officers who chose to side with the poor single mother story instead of doing their job as mandated reporters. And now my son has to pay a life sentence.
Right.
Because of this.
Wow.
It's a horrible story.
And Rob, please talk a little bit about the situation you're currently in with your son and the surgery he needs and your GoFundMe.
Well, I have a GoFundMe set up on a Recovery for Brian page on Facebook. I'm trying to raise a lot of money. It's $150,000+ to have my son's airway reconstructed in Boston, Massachusetts at the Shriners Hospital / Mass General. The Shriners do all my son's primary burn care, but the surgery my son requires is outside of what their specialties are, the operating capabilities of their hospital. So Mass General and through the Shriners, all the physicians and everyone waived all their fees, and they're going to do the procedure for free. The nursing staff, they're not going to get paid for any of their time.
Hey, do you got a website you'd like to plug for that? Just find it on GoFundMe or
Recovery for Brian on Facebook.
Yeah, that would be the best way. But through the miracles that the Shriners have worked, my son's alive.
Thank God for that. Hey,
have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
Do you want to join the ultra wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,503, silver at $17.80, and Bitcoin is trading at $7,474. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a bill that would make malicious acts of animal cruelty a federal felony was unanimously passed in the United States House of Representatives on Tuesday. The bipartisan Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act gives federal authorities a new set of tools to hunt down suspected animal abusers who move across state lines. The bill expands on a prior law that outlawed the creation and distribution of animal abuse videos that are obscene in nature, but didn't expressly prohibit violence toward animals. The Mind Unleashed reports the PACT Act intends to close that loophole. The bill was introduced by Republican Representative Vern Buchanan of Florida and Democratic Representative Ted Deutsch, also of Florida. In February, a bipartisan group of senators introduced the Senate companion to the bill. According to a fact sheet from Deutsch's office, the law would make it a serious federal crime for any person to intentionally engage in the crushing, burning, drowning, suffocating, and impaling of animals, along with any other acts of intentional animal cruelty toward non-human animals, birds, reptiles, or amphibians. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Google has officially confirmed that they've achieved quantum supremacy. While the breakthrough leaked last month, the company provided new details with the publication of a new article in the scientific journal Nature. The company says their 54-qubit Sycamore processor was able to perform a calculation in 200 seconds, which would have taken the world's most powerful supercomputer 10,000 years. Quantum supremacy has raised concerns that the company will be able to crack the strongest encryption, including the blockchain. That said, ex-Bitcoin Core developer Peter Todd called the achievement a primitive type of quantum computing that is nowhere near breaking cryptography. Some scientists have likened the breakthrough to the Wright brothers' first plane flight in 1903, as proof that something is really possible, even though it may be years before it can fulfill its potential, according to a report from the New York Times. A high-level Livingston Parish, Louisiana Sheriff's Office deputy who commanded the SWAT team, has been arrested for unspeakable crimes against children. 44-year-old Dennis Perkins and his 34-year-old wife, Cynthia Perkins, are accused of multiple counts of child rape and the production of child pornography. On Wednesday, the couple was arrested after a months-long criminal probe headed up by the Louisiana Attorney General's office. After the arrest, footage of the alleged child rapist was posted to Twitter, showing him being led into prison in shackles. The Free Thought Project reports that, according to a source close to the case, the couple was seen in videos and photos committing unspeakable acts with naked children. When police attempted to arrest Dennis Denny Perkins, he reportedly knew they were coming, so he tossed his cell phone in a nearby river and fled. The move also led to the top cop being charged with obstruction of justice on top of the child rape counts. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the conscious resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From the admission of Ant Colony 000082567 KLN 00067X into the Union in 1897, to the day in 1817 when embarrassed construction workers realized they put the Erie Canal in the wrong place. The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On August 5th, 1962, Nelson Mandela was jailed until 1990, becoming fully rehabilitated through the South African penal system. And thanks to the services provided to him while imprisoned, emerged from jail a successful politician and internationally revered symbol of peace. Mandela's record of overcoming hardships and moving South Africa beyond its formidable racial struggles is a lasting testament to South Africa's correctional facilities and prove that the penal system's small cells, demeaning work duties, and minimal rations are exactly the tools needed for a prisoner to truly become a reformed citizen.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hour number 3 of our program. We've been on with Chris Gannon, who is an activist for family law and for parental rights and wants to address some of these inequalities. But first, I want to ask you a simple question. Did you eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables today? I'm willing to guess you did not. Good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great. However, eating right all the time can be challenging. Travel, work schedules, they can get in the way, or you may not have the desire or time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature has the solution with just 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules. You get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that is a lot of nutrition. For a limited time, you can get free shipping plus a free set of fruits and veggies. Go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL. That's balanceofnature.com, coupon code FTL. And hey, I got 10 servings of fruits and vegetables this morning, even before I made it to work. That's a pretty cool thing. We're in studio, myself, Chris
Gannon from Dad Talk Today.
And Nobody from electnobody.com.
And we have been spending a whole lot of time on this subject. I find it fascinating. I find it heartbreaking. It's one of those areas that I don't think anybody goes into a relationship saying, boy, if I just have a kid, then I can tear my partner apart in a courtroom and I'll make all kinds of money. I don't think most people go into parenting with that in mind, but you have a system that actually encourages that kind of behavior. I mean, it's almost a joke in sitcoms, you know, hey, you divorce, you're going to come out ahead. You can get child support. You know, why is this a thing? And this idea of, 50-50 parenting, that should be the first choice. You should, if both parents are capable human beings that were able to take care of the child before you broke up, then what's changed? Why can't you both share the parenting responsibility after you've broken up?
And that's the crux of the problem right there.
And I think we have to change mindsets. I mean, this is a big change. I mean, this the legal system supporting messy breakups has been in place for an awfully long time.
It's a very profitable system that's been in place.
And a lot of people making a lot of money off of, and as you pointed out, a lot of attorneys and actually government benefits from this.
Right. And in the focus and the attention goes off the child. So like Rob Adams, the gentleman we have on talking about the situation with his son. So him and his son are a victim of this, okay? And I really want everybody to hear, after being victims, Rob and his son being victims of these family law courts, like what's happening to Rob and his son now as a result of this broken, corrupt system.
We're going to go back to Robert. Robert, you still with us?
Hey, how you guys doing?
There we go. How you doing, man?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened on the last call.
That's all right. But you were telling us about your son, and this was a horrible accident. I don't wish this sort of thing on my worst enemy, but through an accident that involved, I guess, your ex, and she was involved in some drugs. An explosion took place that seriously injured your son, and she was injured at the same time. But that's kind of where we left it. And you do, I guess, have some opportunity for him to be treated at a Shriners Hospital.
Yeah, the Shriners Hospital, because the night the incident initially happened, none of the hospitals here in Michigan were able or adequately supplied to handle my son's case. And they were actually in the process of making my son comfortable by increasing his morphine levels when the Shriners Hospital called and said they wanted his case. And through a miracle of God and a lot of other higher powers to be, they were managed to work out and get the Department of Defense to do a life flight for us, for a military life flight to get us to Boston. And they've done a lot of miracles for my son. If it wasn't for them, my son wouldn't be alive today.
Yeah.
And your son still needs a lot of treatment. And I really, for anybody listening to this, I encourage you to reach out to Rob. Like, how can anybody help you at this point, Rob, you and your son?
We need a lot of prayers. My son's, the reason why we're trying to figure out the airway procedure to have it done at the Mass General Hospital is because that's where we've been being treated at for the last 2.5 years. And that's the major hurdle in my life right now. Because of his airway, I'm not allowed to work. I can't leave my son because his airway is only open 0.2 centimeters. So I have to be with my son at all times.
So if the listeners, anybody listening to this, like wanted to make a donation to help you out, like how exactly could they do that?
They could go to the Recovery for Brian page.
On Facebook.
That's on Facebook.
On Facebook. Yeah, that's on Facebook. It's a group we started.
Recovery and the number 4, Brian, all together. And if you search on Facebook, you'll find that group.
And to keep in mind, like Rob's gone through all this trauma with being alienated, going through the courts, and now on top of that, like this happening to his son, it's a lot to carry. And Rob's opened up to me through some conversations on the phone, and I don't think people realize how it's affected his life and how it's affected his son. So Rob's got to be like Superman and carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, and at the same time take care of his son and have a constant reminder of what this system's done to him every day.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a uphill challenge, but the biggest thing that motivates me is just when my son, he gets up in the morning and he's full of life and he's just fighting to overcome all this. I mean, that's one thing about kids. They are definitely resilient, and because he definitely seems to be doing better emotionally and mentally than I am with the whole entire situation.
Well, I don't mean to say that's good, but that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely good. I'm definitely grateful for it. I mean, he has his struggles and his day-to-day activities. He's in pain a lot because all of his nerve endings were burnt. He refuses to want to be on any type of pain medication.
Now, did the state put you through the ringer after this happened? I mean, obviously.
I'm still going through the ringer with the state. They put me through multiple investigations. They treated me like I was a criminal throughout the whole proceeding. When we went to the child protective proceedings with the family court, they refused to appoint me an attorney. They told me none of my legal rights were being affected, which was a direct lie.
Right.
They still do tabs and keep everything because of the compromised airway. So I still have to report to social workers and all that fun stuff. So it's still not over on the legal side for me.
Right.
There's a lot of areas, and that's one of the problems I'm having is also trying to find an attorney to represent my family because that's a big financial barrier. Can't figure out that. I mean, I get free advice from other people, but as far as like getting an actual attorney, been very unsuccessful at that.
I'm sure a lot of people, it's good that support groups are out there and what you guys are doing with helping parents that have been alienated, with some direction. But in the end, it's still going to always come down to money.
Right.
And that tells you that the system is kind of broken unless you have
broken. It's the best legal system money can buy.
Hey, Robert, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Robert.
It's insane that if you want justice, you got to pay for it. I don't remember reading that in the Constitution. 855-450-FREE. If you have thoughts on this or any other topic, you can give us a call. We're happy to take your phone calls. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com.
Bitcoin Cash and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. You can also hit us up on Discord. Go to discord.freetalklive.com to find out how. But you're going to basically use the Discord app on your phone, on your PC, on your laptop. You're going to use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you will sound like you are in the studio with us. The in studio right now is myself, Chris R.
And I'm Chris Gannon from Dad Talk Today.
And we have been talking about parental rights and the legal system and how it impacts children. You know, the discussion has pretty much been, it hasn't been. What it hasn't been a discussion about is moms and dads. That's not what this is about.
Correct.
This is about kids.
Right.
And this idea that government can just, make the correct decision about every breakup, and it's going to be slanted whichever way the government feels, instead of just saying, you guys have to work this out. You have to come up with something equitable. And this is between you two. But we've made marriage a state institution,
Right, and it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It should be between people, or, and if you want to involve your particular God, that's fine.
Right.
But I just don't understand the idea that I need a judge's permission to get married, and then I need the judge to decide how we're going to break up. It's just asinine.
Yeah, the government likes to get its claws on everything it can and profit off things every way it can. And, that's when we go back to solutions, okay, it's important for us to tell our stories and explain to people what's happened in this broken and corrupt system. But at the same time, we can't spend all day doing that, you know? And as somebody who's been in the family law courts and alienated from his children for 11 years now,
wow,
the one thing I can say is I've lost all faith in the court process.
Right.
And, a few months ago, I after my 50th court case, I had to make a decision. And I looked back over the things that happened throughout the case. In my original case 11 years ago, for my son, I was given $11.70 a month in child support. Okay, and then 2 years,
meaning you had to pay.
I had to pay it $11.70 a month.
They certainly didn't give you $1,170 for you to spend.
No, and then on top of that, I'd met, somebody else who came into my life and had a child with her, and then there was another, I believe, $890 after that was all said and done.
Wow.
So $11.70 and $890, it got to the point where I was sleeping in my car just to get back and forth to work, and saving my money so that I could go down and get the kids on the weekend, and not only that, but be able to, take them out and do something fun.
Right. Have some quality time.
Yeah, some quality time. And Christmases and the holidays, I would have to plan months in advance. I was down to 120 pounds because it was like eat or see my kids.
Right.
And the state, they don't care. And of course, the custodial parents, that's not their problem. They're living in $200,000 house and going to Disney World, and they don't care. But I had to take a step back. And what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And with me saying, I've lost faith in the court system, this is my personal opinion, okay? This is my personal perspective. And I don't encourage anybody to follow the path that I've taken. You really need to put some thought into it. But I've decided this is the best path for myself.
Right.
This is based off of pure opinion, and that is a legal term. So, anybody, I'm not giving you advice. I'm not telling you what to do. If I inspire you, I hope I do. But throughout the 11 years of my custody battles and parental alienation, I was keeping in touch with Adam Kokesh.
Okay.
And Adam Kokesh, for any of you who may not know who he is, he's actually the front runner in the Libertarian presidency or candidate for the Libertarian Party for president. So Kokesh 2020, and Adam had a great platform called Adam versus the Man, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and that was
RT.
Russia
Today.
It was an RT, and he also produced some stuff on his own, and that was during the Ron Paul era.
Sure.
Ron Paul brought many of us to the fight for liberty, and Adam, in my eyes, the two influential figures at that point were Ron Paul and Adam. And here I was going through these custody battles and depressed and just crying myself to sleep at night. And his show came on Thursday nights, and I couldn't wait for Thursday night to listen to his show because it was all about liberty. And while it didn't have anything to do with family law, it was like, this my liberty is being taken. My son's liberty is being taken.
Right.
It goes back to parental rights. So over the years, I would call into Adam's show and kind of tell him what was going on, and then I'd email him and give him updates, and we would communicate. And it eventually got to the point where about 3 months ago, when presented with the situations that I was in court, I said, you know what, I'm done with this. I reached out to Adam, told him what was going on. And he said, well, listen, you definitely seem like you support me. I'm running for president. Will you, join my campaign? And I said, absolutely, I'd love to. So now I'm his Northeast Regional Campaign Manager. And, Adam has a very, very strong platform that some would perceive as radical.
Mm-hmm.
And he's calling, if he's elected, he's calling.
Love this, by the way.
He's calling for the peaceful dissolution of the federal government. And when people hear that, they're like, it's a very radical statement. But in reality, compared to everything we're talking about on the show tonight, in comparison, is it really that radical when the federal government is a large part of the problem? So let's say that Adam did win the Libertarian nomination, okay, and ran in the primaries against Trump and whoever. Number one, with him stepping in and recognizing that family law is an issue.
Yeah. To be clear, Adam Kokesh isn't advocating, we need anarchism. That's the only solution. We have to get away. He is very specific in saying that we need dissolution of the federal government.
Yeah.
And Adam seems to recognize that state governments may still exist and towns and your county may still exist. That's fine. But if you just remove the burden and the insanity of the federal government, this $4 trillion a year behemoth that takes, a third to a half of your money every year just to enrich itself,
right,
and to tell states what they have to do if they want any chance of getting that money back, it's not quite as radical as it sounds.
Right. And you can still, if a state wants to have the exact, form of a federal government that was in place nationally, they could have that if the constituents voluntarily decided this is what we want.
That's not so radical after all. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. That's the number to call. And to get on the air, we're talking to Chris Gannon. We've been talking parental rights and just this insane system. And before the last break, we were talking about Adam Kokesh and his proposal to do away with the federal government, which I wholeheartedly support. I've got to say, I haven't made up my mind any direction for who I would pick for the next president, because if I look at Democrats and Republicans, I'm like, which tyrant do I want? Which person do I want making decisions about my life that should have nothing to do with them, but I'll just listen to and agree? And even, some that are pretty good. A lot of Tulsi supporters amongst libertarians, they're like, well, she's really good with, she's against war. She wants to get us out of wars. I'm like, that's great, but she also wants to take away my guns. So I'm not really sure where that will go. So I'm looking at third parties, and believe it or not, you may be surprised by this, but there are actually other political parties out there besides Democrats and Republicans. I know a lot of you, that's probably going to come to a shock. You probably didn't hear that on CNN or on Fox News, but there are other political parties. But first, I wanted to say thank you to Ash Reddo. He is a silver amplifier. That means he's pledged to send us $5 per month that we're going to use to amp or advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. That helps get the message of liberty on more stations, and it doesn't directly make us any money, but what it does is we think this is one of the best ways possible to get the message of liberty out there, because people need it. If you're just getting the partisan sound bites from the left or the right, doesn't matter, you're not getting alternative points of view that may surprise you, and they may make a lot more sense. We're going to go to the phones, where we've got David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, what you're talking about? So what's my main topic for the last how many years?
So I was talking to Chris Gannon before, we took your call and during the last break, and I'm like, okay, David in New Mexico is a regular caller to this show and a regular listener, and I know he's going to call in and want to talk. So go ahead.
Yeah, he and I may already be connected on Facebook. I couldn't check because I just changed phones and I didn't sign into Facebook all over again yet to see. But I know that I've seen that dad talk on there in the last number of months, and I hit the like button on it, I'm sure.
Good.
And
thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, well, thank you. So ditto everything that you guys have said. Don't need to rehash all of that, and just check on a few things. And that is, one, on my Facebook, so I haven't seen, I said goodbye to my kids. I've told you this before, but on July 2nd of 2007, I said goodbye to my kids, not knowing I would never see them again. Wow. They were 1 and 3, basically 2 and 4, almost 2 and almost 4. And I had been the primary caregiver. She was working. I was staying home. We didn't want to put them in daycare. And so they were there, and I was, like I said, the primary caretaker. Said goodbye one day after, we had split up and we were passing kids back and forth. Said goodbye one day, and then never saw them again. If anybody can imagine what that felt like when you didn't know that you would never see them again.
I've been through it, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, you're the one. I don't know too many other people that have gone 11 and 12 years, but you're one of them. And the one thing I wanted to talk about was tactics, and part of it ties into what you were just talking about a minute ago was Trump. Oh, and let me interject also. You're talking about Adam Kokesh. I had called into Adam Kokesh's radio show before he had his Adam versus the Man Russia Today television show. This would have been back about 10 years ago, and he was in Albuquerque, New Mexico on Kiva Radio, KIVA,
gotcha,
doing an hour-long program. I had called into him or wrote an email to him on that subject. But tactics, so you're talking about Trump, and, so every politician is a sack of, what. The way I look at Trump different, and it ties into this parental alienation thing, is that the way I describe it, when people ask me, would you vote for Trump or somebody else or whatever, and my response has kind of been, if I could find a guy on death row that could do some of the things that Trump seems to be able to do in a street fighter sense, I'll vote for that over. I'll look past the fact that he murdered however many people and is literally on death row.
Right.
If I can get him out of death row and put him into the presidency and have him kick the ass of a whole bunch of other people in the, let's just use the word swamp because everybody knows, because they're so entrenched that I can't get them out on my own. Nobody else seems to be able to get them out or even want to get them out.
Well,
David,
no, I'm Team Red, and I'm going to vote for Team Red. Whoever they put up there, it's okay as long as he's Team Red.
Right.
That's the mentality.
It is, and all I'm saying is I don't hear too many people are saying this. I don't really care what Trump's crimes have been. If he can kick the ass of the pieces of S that are ruining my life in 100 different ways, including regarding my children, I'll do whatever I can to bust them literally out of death row and put them into power. So, and realizing full well that the person has, if that kind of a person has the propensity to turn into a dictator. But you know what? If that becomes the case, just like I busted him out of death row and put him into the presidency, I'll take him out the same way if he turns into a dictator. So that's my thought on presidency. Is number one is if there is somebody who will be a street fighter and has the will and the ability to take some people out, then I'll put my vote that way. And that ties into tactics. A lot of the talk of tactics of dealing with parental issues is to work within the system, and the system is entirely rigged to make you keep on fighting within the system, spending your money and eating up year after year after year after year.
Yeah,
and that's the game.
I think what I've got out of this conversation most is there really needs to be some organized. I'm not going to say some more active attempts to put into place some common sense solutions, a 50-50 sharing of time. I mean, these are things that need to be done at a state level, and I guess there are some successes.
It's already done. It's called the U.S. Constitution. When a couple hundred years ago, some dudes that feel like I do and took out a king back then, took out the largest empire the world had ever seen, took them out. They wrote a couple documents, a Declaration of Independence and a Constitution. And between the several documents, it already covers parental equality. And yes, let me interject that even after that, women in the 1700s, just to pick a time and place, literally did not have a right to their own children. The children belonged to the father, and the woman couldn't just leave the man and take the children with, and that was not right. However, neither was slavery, and we had a declaration and a constitution in effect when that was going on.
Well,
but
this kind of goes to the point that the Constitution has sort of failed us. It hasn't stopped a lot of bad things from cropping up, and it doesn't have the support of the people or the politicians to actually follow it. They really need to read this thing and take their oaths seriously, or everybody in the country is going to end up like me, where I just look at you, I see your lips move, and I can just tell you're lying because you're a politician. It's insane. 855-450-FREE. We got a little bit of time left, and we got a couple calls to get to, but that doesn't mean you can't get on the air on Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
With more people listening to radio than visit Google, Facebook, or YouTube, from the very young to the very old, everyone listens to radio. Pillow companies, alarm, identity theft, nutrition, insurance, banking, automotive. The list goes on and on. Billion-dollar businesses. Why? The answer is radio. The media everyone tunes into. Find out how effective and affordable radio can be for your business. Contact 877-996-4327 or advertise at gcnlive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Our final segment of the evening. We do 3 hours of radio all the time, and I could do this for another 3 hours because it's been such an entertaining show and such an educational show for me tonight. Of course, everybody knows about parental rights, and everybody's heard horror stories of people going through ugly breakups and things like that, but what gets lost often is the effect it has on children and how messed up this whole system is.
Right.
It's messed up because it's a rigged system. I hate to say it that way, but it really is.
And people need to be brave enough to come out of the shadows and start talking about it.
Yeah.
The biggest fear is to be called a deadbeat parent. And with all the emotional struggles and just mental health involved with it, just being alienated from your child.
Sure.
I think people are ashamed. You have fathers who get labeled deadbeat dads, and if you're a mother that doesn't have your kids, you must have done something really
Right.
wrong.
Just a bad mother.
Across the board, that's why it's important, like, to take the gender out of it. I always encourage people to say, parental rights, not father's rights, not mother's rights.
Right.
Parental rights come together, unify. We're much stronger collectively.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Heather calling from Washington, D.C. Heather, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I never had, come out of my shadows and talk to anyone about my daughter's situation.
Okay.
I have an 11-year-old daughter. I was born with a disability myself. So I have a child that was born with a disability with intestinal issues. And when she was born, her intestines came out and it had to be placed back in as soon as possible.
Gotcha.
So after the intestines was placed in, she was having severe issues with her intestines to the point where she had to get her intestines removed. She has a tube in her stomach. It's called a sarcostomy tube.
That's
where I
be
have
harsh.
it's a flush system through a machine and so forth. But just to go to the system, the fact of I can understand, I'm at this point where I feel lost in the system. I'm not getting any help or any recognition or just anything relating to my child health whatsoever. The hospital that provided all the care terminated every bit of care that they was providing to her, to where I try to take it to the legal system. I try to take it to the people that oversees the hospital, the nursing board, the people, the ombudsman office. I got in contact with so many different people with email and just constant so forth, trying to get in contact with lawyers. And with lawyers, you have to get different lawyers in order to get one thing settled, especially if you don't have money to pay for that lawyer.
Right. So is
course,
the whole question, is it really just about money, and is this government provided health care you're talking about?
It's more so, it's not, I guess it's more the money. It's just, I guess they not giving me it. They had never gave me a diagnosis for her at all. So it was more so of me looking for a proper care plan and just an overall help. But they got tired of me asking for that, where they just terminate the child care and left her completely in our area with no help. To where I've been traveling to Boston trying to get help, but they're not helping her. Now, I do have a health attorney involved, but the health attorney can't do anything unless somebody get involved to correct the doctors. But I can't take any legal actions against anybody anymore because the system put prejudice on my case. The people that oversees the hospital will not look into the case. And they saying that they don't see any wrongdoing or what they did. So it's basically fine that the child is left without completely knowledge of care. I've been homeschooling this child since kindergarten. She's never been in a traditional school because of her health issues.
Right.
I've been doing everything. I'm the only one that monitor her health. And, this is my first time actually to be able to tell my story, because normally time it's always going through the legal system and it's never going through nowhere else, and I'm still not getting no help.
Can I give you some advice? Start telling your story more. Start speaking out. Start telling your story so that people hear it, because the more people that hear it, the more doorways that are going to be open for you. And, that's what my logic is with my cases with my children in the family law courts. The more I speak out about it, the more people that hear what I have to say, the more doors it's going to open to fix this.
I can understand that, but I guess because I've been dealing with this for almost 12 years, and I've been reaching and reaching for help. I've been calling all sorts of people. I ran out of options. I don't want to get emotional, but I ran out of options. So now I just feel like I'm trapped and I'm stuck. So I'm trying, because like I said, I was young when I had her, and I made little mistakes, but all I ever asked for was a proper treatment plan and, stuff like that. I might have didn't handle it properly with how I verbally communicated, but it was never disrespect. I just wanted to be heard, and I'm still not heard. So it's like at this point, because it's been going on for so long that I'm trying to find myself and just trying to, not saying that I've put my child health to the side or I'm not going to keep fighting, but I need to find me too, because that's all I know how to do is just be a mother and homeschool and deal with health, and I don't know no other way around that.
I applaud you for homeschooling, and you are, and I think that's the takeaway from tonight's show is that every conversation is ended up being, it's about a kid. It's about a kid that went up through something horrible, or something that the parents did through a breakup that they didn't handle it well, and the kid ends up paying. I hope you find better solutions, and I echo Chris Gannon's comments. Get the word out. I mean, we have so many more tools than we did, and I think people are going to be surprised that doctors won't give you a treatment plan. Thank you for your call. Just this idea that they decide what you are entitled to, and no, it's my kid.
Right.
That's the end of all you should have ever had to say.
And when you get discouraged like that, you've got to take a step back. Whether you carry a picture of your daughter, and this can be related to the family law and parental alienation. Whether you carry a picture of your children in your wallet or whatever, you need to be able to look at them and not get sucked into that pit of despair. You got to understand, for me to come on Free Talk Live and do what I do daily, I deal with a lot of emotions.
Right.
Okay. I miss my children. I love them. I want to see them daily. I want to be able to tuck them in at night and kiss them and say, Daddy loves you. I don't get to do that.
Right.
So for people to hear me speaking on the show, they're probably like, well, wow, he seems pretty strong. But that doesn't necessarily reflect what I'm feeling inside.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes you've got to put on a smile. You've got to push through. And there's going to be a point where you feel discouraged and you feel beaten down, and you've got to take that pain and that frustration, and you've got to find a way to channel it into fuel, to have energy to keep fighting the fight. And in the past, I've fallen. I've had breakdowns, like bad breakdowns, where I've had to go seek mental health because of the situation. But in doing that and taking that self-ownership, I'm sitting here on a nationally syndicated radio show today, talking to everybody about this. And I want that last caller to think about that. I've been through a lot too.
Yeah.
And where I'm sitting right now, or anywhere that, any nationally syndicated radio show, you could be there. Don't give up. Yeah. Keep fighting. They want you to give up. And I can tell you're stronger than that. And you're going through a lot of emotions. I can hear it in your voice. But you are a strong mother, and you keep fighting for your daughter. And every time somebody tells you no, you double down and push forward even further.
Yeah. That's the end. That's the message. That's the end all be all of being a parent.
Yep.
You don't stop.
You don't give
fight.
up.
And I can tell she's going to keep fighting.
Oh, I think she will.
I applaud her. But I want to thank you, Chris Gannon, for being on the show. It's been enlightening. I guess that's the best way I could put it.
And thank you for having me. And I want to thank all the people from Dad Talk today who donated to help me get up here. It's been magnificent, and I hope we reached a lot of people.
This is Free Talk Live.
Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
My blood work with my doctor is the best it's ever been, all my numbers. And this is the only supplement I take now. Whatever I'm doing, he said, keep it up.
We're landlords, and I have about 3 people moving in, and it's been very strenuous, but I have the energy to do it, thanks to, balance of nature.
my blood work has been getting better and better every 6 months, and I have no explanation for it other than I'm taking a balance of nature. All the numbers are always changing for the better, every blood test.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an